know firsthand how debilitating insomnia and poor sleep can be. And I truly, truly feel for you. That's why I've spent sleepless nights on scientific, evidence-based research to bring you this crucial video. We'll delve deep into the science of how low dopamine levels are sabotaging your sleep and explore several categories of actionable steps you can take right now to finally get the restful sleep you deserve. I assure you that this video is filled with value-packed content you wouldn't want to miss, as it could be the answer to your sleepless nights. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll be a mini expert on why you can't catch those Z's. So what is dopamine? Well, I can assure you that it isn't just a mood booster. It's a critical neurotransmitter that serves as a signaling agent between neurons in your brain. When dopamine levels are elevated, you generally experience increased cognitive function and emotional well-being. However, when levels dip, the opposite occurs, negatively affecting various aspects of your life. But here's the catch. Consistently spiking your dopamine can lead to a high and crash cycle, making your body more resistant to its effects over time. As such, the number of dopamine receptors in the body will decrease, leading to low dopamine levels. So why is having balanced dopamine levels such a big deal? Well, the importance of dopamine goes beyond just feeling good. It's crucial for basic motor functions and is involved in a variety of complex behaviors like planning, reward anticipation, and risk-taking. It also has a significant impact on mental health, affecting conditions like depression, schizophrenia, and addiction. Moreover, dopamine plays a role in regulating sleep-wake cycles. Imbalances in dopamine levels can lead to sleep disorders like insomnia, affecting your overall health and quality of life. So it's not just about pleasure and reward. Dopamine is integral to how we function, both mentally and physically. To further illustrate this, a study from PubMed dives deep into the role of the dopamine transporter in regulating sleep and wakefulness. It suggests that this transporter is not just a passive channel, but plays an active role in maintaining the balance of sleep and wake states. Essentially, it acts as a gatekeeper, controlling the dopamine flow in neural pathways crucial for regulating sleep. When this system is balanced, you experience a natural sleep-wake cycle. But if the dopamine transporter is off balance, it can disrupt this cycle, leading to sleep issues. This study adds another layer to our understanding of how dopamine directly influences our sleep patterns. Moving on, let's delve into how insomnia is more than just a surface-level issue of not being able to sleep. It's a multifaceted problem that can extend your nights into restless marathons and make your waking hours a slog. One of the primary culprits behind this is the dysregulation of dopamine levels, which we've just dissected. So what's the explanation for this? Low dopamine levels can destabilize your circadian rhythm, the natural internal process that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. When dopamine is out of balance, it disrupts this homeostatic mechanism, leading to sleep disorders like insomnia. In a more technical sense, dopamine modulates the activity of other key neurotransmitters that are integral to the circadian regulation of sleep and wakefulness. Therefore, any imbalance in dopamine levels can have a cascading effect on your sleep architecture, making it challenging to both initiate and maintain sleep. Here's a study to back up my claim. Researchers delved into how dopamine levels fluctuate in the ventral striatum of the brain in a circadian fashion, demonstrating how it affected sleep quality. I'll leave links to this study if you're interested in finding out more. Now that we've explored how low dopamine levels can be a leading cause of insomnia, let's delve into the nitty-gritty science behind it. So how exactly does the influence of low dopamine levels lead to insomnia? Basically, neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, and GABA are central to sleep regulation. They interact with neural circuits and receptors in the brain to stabilize the sleep-wake cycle. Specifically, dopamine influences D1 and D2 receptors, which are important for maintaining wakefulness. Dysfunction in these neurotransmitter systems can disrupt the sleep-wake cycle, leading to sleep disorders like insomnia. Overall, it's a complex interaction of neural networks that controls your sleep. Now that we've got a solid grasp on the science behind dopamine's role in sleep, let's pivot to some actionable steps. How can we adjust our daily activities to better manage dopamine levels and improve sleep? As we look for ways to tackle insomnia linked to low dopamine levels, it's essential to consider our daily activities. Believe it or not, some of the things we do every day can cause spikes in dopamine that isn't beneficial for our sleep. Activities like excessive scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or even playing video games can cause prolonged short-term spikes in dopamine levels. While this might feel good at the moment, it can have detrimental effects on your sleep. When you engage in immediately rewarding activities, your brain releases a burst of dopamine. These spikes can disrupt the natural dopamine regulation in your brain. The problem arises when these dopamine spikes become frequent and intense, leading to a phenomenon known as dopamine desensitization. In this state, dopamine receptors become less sensitive due to being overwhelmed, requiring more dopamine to achieve the same effect. This desensitization can disrupt the sleep-wake cycle, making it difficult to initiate or maintain sleep. In essence, you're conditioning your brain to seek immediate rewards, which hampers its ability to regulate sleep effectively. For those who want the science to back this up, there's a study published in the Journal of Neuroscience that's right on point. The research shows that excessive dopamine signaling can actually alter your brain in ways that make it tougher to fall asleep and keep a regular sleep pattern. So it's not just about feeling good in the moment. These dopamine spikes can have long-term consequences on your sleep. Now that we've looked at activities that can mess with your dopamine levels, let's focus on something we all love: food. What's on your plate can actually make a difference in how you sleep. Here's the breakdown. Foods rich in specific nutrients can either directly or indirectly affect dopamine levels. For example, foods high in tyrosine, an amino acid, provide the building blocks for dopamine production. Consuming these foods gives your body the raw materials it needs to make more dopamine. Also, foods packed with antioxidants can shield dopaminergic neurons from oxidative stress. This is important because oxidative stress can damage these neurons, leading to decreased dopamine levels. Lastly, foods with a low glycemic index help maintain stable blood sugar levels, which is key for dopamine regulation. Unstable blood sugar can result in dopamine spikes and crashes, messing up your sleep-wake cycle. A study in the Journal of Nutrients found that diets rich in fruits, vegetables, and lean protein were linked to improved neurotransmitter regulation, including dopamine. So it's not just about cutting out the bad stuff. Adding the right foods can make a real difference. So we've talked about some foods that can help balance your dopamine levels and potentially improve your sleep. But what if you're looking for something a bit more concentrated or convenient? That's where supplements come in. Let's dive into the top 3 dopamine-regulating supplements you might consider adding to your routine. Let's start off with probiotics. Probiotics are known to benefit gut health and may also increase dopamine production, which can boost mood and potentially improve sleep. The gut-brain axis is a two-way communication system between your digestive tract and your brain. Probiotics can influence this axis by promoting a healthy gut microbiome, which in turn can affect neurotransmitter production, including dopamine. Next, we have Mukuna Purans. This tropical bean is rich in L-dopa, an amino acid that your brain needs to produce dopamine. By providing your body with more of this precursor, you're essentially giving it the raw materials it needs to produce more dopamine. Last but not least, ginkgo biloba. Some studies have found that supplementing with ginkgo biloba in the long term increased dopamine levels. Ginkgo biloba increases dopamine levels by acting as a monoamine oxidase inhibitor. These inhibitors prevent the breakdown of dopamine, allowing it to remain in the system longer, which can be beneficial for sleep regulation. We've talked about food and supplements, but there's one more crucial factor to consider: sleep timing and morning sunlight. Let's dive into why this matters for your dopamine levels and sleep quality. You might think getting your 8 hours is enough, but the time you sleep and the time you get some sun actually has a big impact on your dopamine levels. Sleeping early and catching morning sunlight helps your internal systems work in sync, leading to balanced dopamine release. The SCN, suprachiasmatic nucleus, which controls your circadian rhythm, is connected to dopamine-producing areas in the brain like the ventral tegmental area, VTA, and substantia nigra. Sleeping early aligns your sleep-wake cycle with natural light-dark cycles, aiding SCN function. Morning sunlight, especially its blue light component, is a strong signal for the SCN to reset your internal clock. This not only regulates melatonin release, but also impacts dopamine production. A well-functioning SCN can better control dopamine-producing neurons, leading to balanced dopamine release, which is essential for good sleep and mood. On the flip side, sleeping late and missing morning sunlight can disrupt this balance, affecting your sleep and mood. We've covered a lot in this video, and with this knowledge laid out, I really do hope that you'll start sleeping like a baby and waking up every morning ready to tackle the day.